Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, you're having a happy Monday. Do me a favor, invite somebody, share, tell somebody we are on. If you don't mind doing that for me, Gary Harvey. We need to get together, my brother. Got some stuff in my heart for you, but of course, we need to talk about it, discuss it, that kind of thing. Everybody else, do me a favor, invite somebody. You don't want to miss this. It's coffee time, I promise you. Angie, I'm so blessed. Daniels, good morning and good to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Do me a favor, invite somebody, share, tell them coffee time is on. I know. Somebody told me last week, so you just come on when you want to. Well, there's a lot going on, so y'all pray my strength. Want to give our shout out to our sponsors, A Taste of Miami. Make sure you get your sea moss there. For those of you on a vegan diet, you will love A Taste of Miami as well. Shout out to Crazy Beans Coffee. It's in Fleming Island, 220. You want to get away? You want the best coffee on this side of the planet? You need to go to Crazy Bean Coffee. And Before Life Coaching Enterprise. They do life coaching, finance coaching. You need financial guide. You need a life guide. Before Life is who you need to see. I've worked with Before Life for a long time, off and on for the last 15, almost 20 years. They've coached me in some areas. So I promise you won't lose with them. So I'm grateful for the sponsors that we have. If you're looking to expose your business, you want to take your business to the next level, we are on Sony. I am sending in the last show today. So between this week and next week, you will be able to see Coffee Time on the XOD network, PGN network. These are Sony networks. XOD is Experience on Demand. PGN is another one of their networks that they empower. We're on those. You'll be able to get through Apple TV and some other streaming sites. So good morning. Dewan McIntyre, good morning. Erica Austin, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Tanya Stinson, good morning. Thank you for joining us. If I did not call your name, I'm not being rude, and I can read, but Facebook doesn't show me this streaming network that we have. It doesn't show me everybody that's on. Janice Lady Parker, good morning. So I was talking to one of my homeboys last night on the phone, an hour way past my bedtime, and we were talking about certain principles. We were literally just clowning at first, and it took a right turn, and we started talking about some pretty heavy stuff. And I woke up with it this morning. I called him this morning because I wanted him to join me on Coffee Time. He didn't answer my call. So I'm going to have to do this one by myself. But hopefully we can have him on soon. I love the people that are in my life. I love the people that are around me, people that rock with me, because they challenge me to think. They also are able to see things that I've not seen, or they're able to bring light into areas that are a little shady in my life. You need those type of people around you. And one of the things we were talking about a mutual friend or whatever, and we start talking about principle law. Start talking about my family, his family, and just how people trigger certain things with principle and law. And I went to bed and I woke up this morning. All through the night, I'm tossing and turning, thinking about this conversation. The most dangerous person in the world. You probably would say one of the most dangerous men, evil men we've ever seen on this side of heaven. Probably Adolf Hitler, who had over 2,000 Jews killed. And I wouldn't say you're wrong, but I want to add something to that. One of the most dangerous persons in the world is a man that will not work. A man that doesn't have a job. Now, to everything there's balance. To every rule there is an exception. I'm not talking about the man who works, who has a job. I'm talking about the man that won't work. I'm not talking about the man in between situations. I'm specifically talking about the man that doesn't believe working is for them. They believe, and they're over 40, their rap career going to take off. So they won't keep a job because they're chasing their rap career. They believe that they're going to be a superstar. That's okay when you're a teenager. And we're going to unpack this. That's okay when you're a teenager. It's permissible in your 20s. But when you hit 30, 30 is the beginning of the defining moments in your life where you have enough past history to refine your present so that you can build a greater future. Now, when you get from 30 to 40 and you're around here with your britches hanging off your butt, with a rack in your mouth, spitting, doing shows, and you don't have a job, something is clinically wrong. It's about to get heavy. Cassandra Williams Davis, God gonna judge you in Melbourne for not getting me that espresso machine. You know you don't have to ask about that. Just get it. Good to see you, Cassandra. Teron Butler. Stephanie Brooks, good morning. Rhonda Oliver, good morning. Something is seriously wrong with a man who bypasses his teens, his 20s, his 30s. He's in his 40s and he's living off of you. Or he's living off mom. Or he's living off grandma, auntie. He doesn't have any place to call his home. I'm not talking about a man who once had it, a man who has a career of working and just hit bad times. Let's be clear. I'm not talking about that guy. I remember I hit two rough spaces in my life, and I moved back home with my mom. The first time I was there for 1 month. The second time I was there for about a month and a half. Why? Because it's a passing place to re-equip, restore, re-evaluate, regroup. And it was never a situation where, Mom, I need to, because I don't have nowhere to go. No, it was, I need to move here because the place where I'm going is not ready. So I had to move back home. They were rough patches, though. Let me be clear. They were rough patches. And I needed to go back home for a few. Now, I could have stayed where I was or forced an early move in. I didn't want to do that because there was something in that house that I know I needed. It's the comfort, the love of my parents, the wisdom of my parents. So I went back. Hey, can I stay with you all for a few weeks to this place get ready? And every time I got ready to leave, both of my parents said, we enjoy you being here. You're such a blessing to us. You don't have to leave. We're not rushing you out. We want you to stay. But I couldn't stay. Here's why I couldn't stay. I could not stay because that wasn't a part of the plan. So let me give you all, for those of you that believe in Bible, you don't believe in Bible, there's some great principles that you ought to study. The first thing God did when he made a man, he gave him a job before he gave him a wife. Before he gave him kids, he had a job. Cursed is the man that brings kids in the world and he can't provide because he doesn't want to work. There's a difference between realignment and just straight up laziness. I like that, Cassandra. I like that. I'm going to share that with everybody. I want you all to see that. There's something wrong with a man that brings children in the world and he's not conquered. The first responsibility of man is a job. This generation confuses me. And it's okay to dream. It's good that you dream. I never forget when my son was younger because I made him work. I did. I sent him to work with my dad. The type of industry that I was in at the time, he couldn't come to work with me in banking, mortgage, couldn't have him there. but I dropped him off to my dad and made him go out there on that construction site. There were things around the house I made him do. And I talked to him about getting a job. And I never forget when my son was younger. He says, I'm going to do this. And he had a goal to do something. And I say, well, if that doesn't work out, son, what's your plan B? He said, I don't have a plan B. Well, I admired him for that. That he believed so in plan A that he wasn't going to need plan B. And I tried to talk him, hey, as good as that is, it is pressed. I'm very impressed at your answer. That's really good, but you need a plan B. And then I'm trying to give him wisdom and unpack knowledge and pump into him. And he listened to me. He said, yeah, Dad, but I don't agree. I don't agree. I put everything I got in plan A. Plan A is going to work. Well, here it is a few years later. Plan A is working, but he's starting to understand the balance of plan B. So not only does he have a plan A that he's working a plan B. What is that? It's called maturity. When he was young, he didn't have another plan. This is it. Well, that it is still it, but he's starting to understand more. In order to make it work, there are other provisions that he has to have that comes through a job. I don't trust a man that doesn't work. I'll never forget, I told my friend, my big brother, y'all know the gospel legend, Joe Pace. He and I was having a conversation. We were at lunch. And I was telling him about the music arena. Like nowadays, being able to be a musician for a church, it pays great dividends. I mean, you could really, oh yeah, the church has been good to pick it. No, you really make good working for the house of faith, the household of faith. But one of the problems that I begin to see is that the younger the musician was that broke into this music world, they didn't have the discipline that a job gives you. Let me tell you why it's so important to have a job. In having a job, you're able to work out so many other things in your life. You're able to build tolerance. You're able to build patience. Life skills are taught to you while you're on your way to work, while you're at the work, and on your way home. People don't understand how important it is to have a job. And it's not just so you can eat. There are principles. There are lessons in life that are taught that you're not going to learn anywhere else. Because that job is going to force you in an environment to be around people who are not like you. They don't think like you. They don't look like you. They don't act like you. They don't like you. It's going to force you in a situation where there's a common goal. You need that check. So with this common goal of getting my check, I have to endure some of the things that come with it because I can't afford to lose my job. I never forget, it was Continental Cablevision, then it was Media One. It's Xfinity now, Comcast, whatever. But I was working for the cable company, and I worked in a special sales department called NASA. It stands for New Account Sales Associate. And while I was in that department, it was the elite, I might add. I always been somebody. So while I was working in that department, I never forget, I needed that job. We had a baby on the way. I was married at the time. We had a baby on the way. And on the job, there was a guy there who started to pick on me. And white guy. And for whatever reason, he didn't like me. And he would create stories about me. And then he wrote me up for something he created in his head. Listen, he called me in the office. He's unpacking what he believes. And what he believed was so far from the truth. And as he's telling me this, and he's going through all of this stuff, I looked at him. I said, I did none of that, sir. I wasn't even here. In fact, the incident that you're talking about happened on the night shift. I work in the mornings. So he wrote me up. And while I was in that office, so many things began to run through my mind that I wanted to tell him. I was still young at the time. I wanted to follow him when he got off work, put a mask or, something over my face and just let him have it somewhere. And every day this man found something. He found something to bother me about. But let me help you out. What I wasn't getting ready to do is quit that job. I didn't want to be there. I didn't like him. He was a liar. He made it very uncomfortable. But I needed my job. Now, guess what that taught me? It taught me endurance. It taught me tolerance. It taught me patience. And it also taught me that in life, you're going to have to take some stuff because you got to look at the goal you're trying to reach and understand that there are going to be haters. Listen, fish swim, birds fly, and haters hate. What you want a hater to do? Hater ain't going to give you no lollipop unless it's induced with poison. Haters going to hate. But having to stay on that job and not having the luxury of quitting taught me some things. It instilled some things to me. I was never late to work. I didn't take extra breaks. If I had an hour lunch break, I can promise you I only took 45 to 50 minutes. The discipline that I've learned, the life skill that I've gained, it came through clocking in on somebody's job. A job is necessary. So what happens is the Church of Jesus Christ, hire these young musicians who don't have life skills, so they late to service. They late to rehearsal. They feel they can wear what they want to wear. They're combative. You look at some of these young people, and some of these young people are old, but they're still young in their mind because they've not crossed the bridge of maturity. Just because you're in your 40s or your 50s, that don't make you seasoned or old because you're still young in your mind. There are certain things that are non-negotiables in life. For instance, your resume, your character. Those are things that are irreplaceable. They can't be erased. They follow you through life. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were talking about different people that they know. And some kind of way, I don't know how we got on me. And one of the things that they said is, oh, I heard you a hoe. I heard you are a hoe. I'm like, me? Yes. I say, well, who told you that? Oh, I heard it from more than one source. And if it comes from more than one source, there's got to be some truth to it. I say, not necessarily. Who told you that? And what part of my life are they speaking in reference to? Hey, I'll be the first to admit that I needed the mercy and the grace of God in areas of my life. But you can't call, I'm nobody's hoe. Watch. What people do is they see you in a certain time frame. They know you in a certain time. You don't see them. There's a stretch of time that goes by. Now they know you from a distance, or they know their last impression of you. But in their mind, it's still who you are because that's where you've been. People won't let you change. This is why you can't live according to their standards and operate up under their opinion. You don't have time to worship at the altar of other people's opinion. Neither should you evaluate your life based on what goes on in their head. Because people are going to hold you to a certain place that they know about you. Now, there was a time when that could have been true. I still, I did go through them. Pick it! I did. I went through them. I had a field day. I was a lot younger. I did. Listen, when I divorced, you don't have to go nowhere to get the tea on me. I'll give it to you. I had a quota. Had to meet that quota. But that was a certain time in life. Now, let me tell you what a job does. Let me tell you what a job and how important your resume is and a job as it relates to how people see you. It was working a job that I had to learn how to contain this flesh and get it up under discipline. I call myself going to date a girl that I work with. She almost got me fired. It was the job that taught me having more than one is probably not the best idea. Now, I know Bible. I know it goes against the law of God, the heart of God, the word of God. Hey, I'm with you on there. But it was also the job that I was on that told me, hey, because here's the deal. So I was dating. We weren't in a committed relationship, but I was dating multiple people that worked in the same company. And I decided to choose somebody else. And all these, it's about 2-3 of them, were trying to get me fired. But that's my past. Now listen to this. As wrong as I was, it's what I was. It reflects what I did. But it's attached to who I was. Watch. And it follows me. And people still think that about me. And I don't have time to try and convince them otherwise. Your opinion of me belongs to you. I've got to make sure what your opinion is. If it's negative, I got to make sure I don't prove you right. But it follows me. Why? On one hand, you can say, well, it's going to follow you. This is why you have to be careful what you post on social media. You never know the opportunities that God want to give you. But based on your past and the stuff that you're posting, you could be killing the opportunities that are for you. A job teach you how to act. It was on my job that I learned. Every meeting is an interview. Every time they bring you in a meeting, you're in an interview. Every time they ask you a question, that's an interview. Because you never know what they have attached to what they're asking you. Some of you right now, you're irritated, frustrated. You've lost motivation for your job. And you're just acting in any kind of way, saying you're messy with your mouth, you're messy with your action, your body language says you don't want to be there. How long do you think they're going to tolerate that? I can promise you there are three things happening behind the scenes as it relates to your job. They're planning for your promotion, they're planning to fire you, or they're planning to keep you where you are. You decide how far you go based on how you act and respond. You've got to learn how to go to work with the poker face. I know you don't want to be on them Zoom calls. I know you think it's a waste of your life. I know that. But if you had everything that you think you had, you wouldn't have to be on that Zoom call. But because you are missing some things, you need that job. So you've got to straighten your attitude up, put the poker face on, and act like you want to be there. Because this is a means to getting what you need so you can go where you want to go. Now that one in my notes. You got to act right. What's wrong with y'all? You can't act like you want to act on these people's job and do what you want to do, but favor ain't fair. You got favor of God. Favor of God is not on you if you're violating principle. Did you not know the reason you got that job, most of you prayed for it, now you don't want it because you see what it is. You got to understand in life, it's a puzzle. One piece connects to the other. The domino effect is real. How you treat this job, how you treat where you are, it's going to determine where you go next. Because what they're going to do is they're going to look at your resume. They're going to check your social media. They want to know who you are. So all this stuff about, well, what I post ain't who I am. Okay, well, you're killing your own name. Watch what you post. Watch what you post. Man, I'm going to get back to it, but I got to say it while I'm here. Why you got to show all your body? I'll wait. Why do you have to show a certain frame, image? Why? Why are you looking back at it? You want to show off your shape? Okay. You want to show off your cute dress? Okay. But some of this stuff you ought to preserve. The world shouldn't know what your body look like. And I know we are in a generation where everybody do whatever they want to do, but we're trying to figure out why we don't have the opportunities. Here's why. We violated principle. When you violate principle, you create chaos. People don't know you, so when they bring you in, they're going to be looking at everything that's connected to you. Watch what you say about people. Because somebody will ask the person, you could be talking to somebody you think you can trust them, and you dogging this person, you dogging this organization, and you just talking about them, and yeah, they blah, 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 blah. You don't know what position the person you're talking to is in. Sometimes they will bring in the people that work with you, work around you, that know of you, and interview them to get an opinion of you. We've got to make sure that we are not giving our haters something to hate. If haters hate you, let it be a lie. Let it be something they created in their mind, and don't you confirm it. Y'all just say anything on cussing and foul language and sharing crazy videos. I delete people when they share stuff I don't like. I don't care who it is. And people they inbox me, hey, did you delete me? I won't even answer. I don't owe you an answer. That's my page. Why? Because I don't like the foul. And then they'll do this. They'll share something extremely foul and try and find something positive. This generation is going crazy. No, that's your license to gossip. I shared one fight on Facebook, and I'm not justifying this. It was the other day. It was Andrew Caldwell, Mr. Tongue Talker. Women's. I just think he's funny. But he was fighting. I had to show the world. What I'm saying to you, those things, and it probably wasn't, I shouldn't have shared it probably. I just thought it was funny that I was trying to make other people laugh. I probably should take it down. What I'm saying to you, you have to be careful, because in this new world, in modern day society, a part of your resume is social media. But a job, listen, people that's trying to keep their job, they're not trying to do nothing crazy to compromise their check. I have a client that works for a pretty large organization. Let me say this. Hope Jordan, I got some stuff for you, Hope. I do. Promise I do. I got a client that worked for an organization, and that client came into town. They don't live here. They came into town. We had a meeting. There were some things that we had to work out in terms of their business, what they're trying to do. And they didn't want the organization to know what they were doing, right? So there were some things they did not post. Now you done called in to work. You're working from home. How you call in and you work at the house? But anyway, you call in to work from the house. Say you're not working. But then you posting you at the beach or you somewhere eating, chilling, and then you wondering why they on your case. Watch how you treat your job. How you treat where you are will determine where you are going. I'm done with that for now. I want to talk about why is it so, and when I say a man without a job, I mean women too. The only thing more worse than a lazy man is a lazy woman. There are principles and there are things that you learn working for somebody. Oh, you learn how to button your lips when you need that job. As bad as I want to tell that man, I want to tell him a few things. I couldn't. Why? I needed the job. I need this gig. Nah, bruh. Nah. You're not going to get me to say, nah, I need the job. No. This is the South. Now, I need that job. So I had to learn how to take some stuff. Well, it built up a build of sale in me. Now I'm not sensitive. Why? Because I've been through the worst. Can't hurt my feelings. You don't know what I had to take being a black male who's good at what he does, who knows his stuff. You're not going to ever call me on the carpet and I not know what I'm supposed to know. Now, I may not know it the way you want me to know, but I know my stuff. And I was a threat. Here's the other thing. I was a threat to him. I was also a threat because I've been on jobs where my stature was a threat. I'm 6'3", 253. Oh, yeah. And I'm still losing. I'm not going to tell y'all what I was. I'm still losing. So my frame, for some people, especially in white America, my frame, if I'm not careful with my voice, my frame is intimidating. It is. People don't want you to be a mountain. They don't want you to be a mountain over them. And when I'm looking down at these white men, when I was working in corporate America, I don't know why all the white men were short. It was a few tall ones that I worked with. But I'm looking down at them as they're giving me instructions of what they want me to do. And they got to look up. And sometimes they'll back up. It didn't make them feel good about themselves. So let me tell you this. Let me give you this. When a person is broken within, I don't care how whole you are, they're going to find something broken in you. You got to have wisdom on how to deal with those type people. You know the posture I took because I needed my job? Non-threatening. Which means I had to lower my voice. I was careful in corporate America on how I articulated. I didn't split verbs because I don't want them to think they're dealing with a dummy. I was very careful and slow about how I communicated with them. And I did it in a tone that was not threatening. I was overly polite, but I wasn't fake. Terrence, do you believe you can do such and such and such? Yeah, I believe I can handle that. When do you need it by? Well, we need it by such and such and such. If you can make that happen, I'm going to do my very best to get you what you need. Is there a team that's going to be working with me, or is this a project that I'm embarking on by myself? And I work my language and my lingo to gain favor so that I could show them that my size was not a threat to them. These are things that I've had to do in white America because I needed my job. But it taught me so much more about life. And a lot of the things that I am enjoying right now in my life came as a result of having a job. So the most dangerous person in the world is a man that will not work, because these are the principles that he will not learn. And he's going to always be behind. I don't care where he goes. This is why people can win the lottery and lose it. They don't have the discipline. They've not developed. They've not learned principle and law. They've not developed discipline to handle what they've been given, so they lose it because of the mentality. A job helps your mentality. It was a reason before God gave Adam anything. Gave him a job. Here's why. If a man doesn't know how to keep a job, he will not know how to treat a woman. If a man doesn't know how to keep a job, he will not know how to raise his kids. Because the discipline that you get and the laws and the precepts that you're going to get through working, if you don't get those through working, you have nothing to work with. And then, because I see this a lot, Negro ain't got no job, but he always got something new. I've seen people, they don't work, always got a nice car, always look nice, they sharp, their haircut, They look presentable. Listen, but they don't have any weight. They live a lie. And I can promise you, the reason they look the way, they look successful, they've learned how to lie. Shouldn't be looking better than me if you don't have a job. I've been working since I was 5 or 6, something. I started out cutting yards, picking up trash. I never forget, I would go door to door and pick up. Nobody told me to do that. My mama didn't tell. It was instinct. I need to do something. On weekends, Fridays and Saturdays, I would go to the church and work for the church, cut the church yard, clean the church, clean the bathrooms, vacuum. I started working full time at 12. 12. Full-time job. It was during the summer, but still, I was 12. And I worked, listen, when we didn't have school, I was at work. We had holidays, work. Sundays, instead of going to church, work. My parents made sure I went to work. Why? They were making sure that I didn't cheat somebody else in life by avoiding the path that I was supposed to take in life. You don't have to make a real man work. It's in his nature. You home, getting ready to go to work, and that Negro in the bed, taking you to work in your car. That's why we got so many jellyfish, spineless, pussy little boys. I said it. It's a cat. Cat is weak. It's limber. It's no stability in cats. They creepy. Can't trust a cat. I said it. Why? You done mama them to the death. And now you made mama boys, you made them weak. You're destroying the fiber that God put in them by providing them. You giving them everything they want. You won't let them cry. You hugging them and you doing. Listen, that ain't what he needs. A man, boys need to be placed in situations where they can figure it out. So they don't become a burden to the woman that they're supposed to lead. It's too many women leading men because he can't provide them with security. Women are leading, and I'm not demonizing you women that have to lead, and you women that are in relationships where you lead. I'm not demonizing you. More power to you. My prayers with you. But I really believe that the man is supposed to be the security and the shelter to lead his family. But the reason the women have all this pressure on them to lead is because the man has violated and he's missing from his post. And the reason he's missing from his post, some of mama's boys, confused by their own sexuality, they don't understand that being a man isn't your sexual performance. Being a man is being able to accept responsibility, having wisdom to lead, guide, and be the example. My parents had a rule on holidays. Saturday. The few times my dad didn't go to work, he was doing something. He stayed busy. But they had a rule for me and my brothers. When they get up, you better be out the bed. Now, they let the girls sleep in. They did. But they wake us up. My dad would walk in the room, and all he would say, "Hey, I'm up." Listen, man, I didn't like my parents growing up. And the problem with most of us, we're trying to be friends with somebody whose brain has not even matured. It's not even developed. Can't be friends with no child. Your job is to raise them. You put in them a work ethic. I am who I am because of Some things are naturally in me. Some things my parents put in me, instilled in me. And other things, they just complemented what was already there. You weren't going to be laying around the house when my parents were home. My mom would wake us up 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, woman, I've been in school all week. Can I sleep in at least to 7? What meaneth this thou? Like, my mama get up and pray 4 in the morning, and then she expect you ought to be cleaning by 5. Her prayers woke me up. But it created something in me. That drive. Thank God for parents that cared and didn't care what I thought about it. I never forget, we'd have these family Bible studies. And in family Bible study was also an opportunity for you to speak your heart with respect. And you could really tell them how you felt about certain things respectfully. And they would provide answers for you if they felt they needed to. But they gave you, it was the only time we could speak our mind. And I'll never forget, I said, I just think it's fair. I think it's unfair that going to work, studying, on the weekends, I just want to sleep in. I'm not saying sleep all day. Can I just sleep in at 9, 8 o'clock? We get up every morning. We up 4 or 5 because of school bus, city bus, however we were getting there. And I never forget my mom telling me, I understand what you're saying, and while I can appreciate you wanting to sleep in, you'll get up when we tell you. Oh, I hated her. You know how it is when you're little, you think you don't like your parents. You really believe you don't. But it created something in me. Now I feel uncomfortable. Listen, in the bed and it's after 6 in the morning, for me, I'm uncomfortable. Oh, don't let 7 o'clock. I'm still in the bed? No, get up. If I don't get up and do nothing but brush my teeth, wash my face, take a shower, whatever, make coffee, you need to be out that bed. It's in me. And the missing pieces and components, and the reason men can't think, and some women are so dingy, just don't have the sense of a nickel. It's because they've not developed the discipline that a job gives you. They've not had an opportunity to work stuff out. So their body grows up and they get old, but that mind is still stuck. So you married him because he was fine. You got all the new clothes that you provide for him. And you're tired now because you're having to be the man and the woman. It's dangerous to not have a job. Listen to this. So the Bible is hard. It is the Bible. The Bible is hard on two people. It is. And y'all gonna laugh when I tell you who they are, but I'm gonna get you the scripture. The Bible is hard on two people. The Bible is hard on a man that will not work. And when I say man, I'm talking about creation. That could be a man or a woman. Boy, y'all gonna crack up when I share the scripture. It says if you don't work, you shouldn't eat. Here's what the Bible is saying. If a man doesn't work, he should die. Because eating is an essential for living. And God is hard on somebody that won't go to work. What he's saying is he doesn't see his reflection in you. So you have no business being here. You were created by God. The stuff that was in God, he gave to you. And you're able to violate stuff that he put in you. And you created something that he don't have. He put it in man to work. So when a man doesn't work, what has he done to overlook what God gave him? The Bible says you ought to be dead. If a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. Woo! Your life doesn't matter if you're dead. The Bible says the qualification for living on earth is you need a job. If you don't have a job and you don't work and work is not in you, you're supposed to be dead. God said it. Here's the second one. The second one, the Bible was telling some principles in this thing. Proverbs 23:2. Listen, says, when you sit down to eat with the ruler, observe carefully what is before you. Now, let me deal with Proverbs 23:1. It says, when you sit down to eat with the ruler, observe carefully what is before you. Your observation and the capacity of thought that you gain comes from experiences and knowledge. When knowledge and experience meet, wisdom is born, and your ability to process wisdom in any given situation, being able to measure people, things, situation, that wisdom to trigger, the ability to trigger that level of wisdom, it comes from having a doggone job. Because it's in job that situations are created, and you learn how to deal with, how to get rid of, you learn balance, all that stuff you learn on a job. So the Bible says if you don't have a job, you shouldn't be living. Then it says in Proverbs 23:1, when you sit down to eat with the ruler, observe carefully what is before you. It's telling you to observe. But there can be no observation if there has not been reservations. Where do reservations come from? Reservations are in you. They're triggers. There are certain things that you need to be reserved by, and you sharpen those things through working. So that when you begin to observe, your observations is because of the reservations, but no reservations, no observation. You are a walking fool. Listen to Proverbs 23:2, and it says, and put a knife to your throat if you're giving to appetite. In other words, y'all not going to like me after today. The Bible says if you overeat, if you're given to appetite, your appetite drives you. You can't do nothing because your appetite. Put a knife, kill yourself. That's in the Bible, man. Pick it. Yeah, Doc, I didn't write it, but it's there. Two people shouldn't be alive. People who appetite drives them, the Bible says you ought to be dead, put a knife to your throat. And the man that don't work. The Bible says you are the two most dangerous people on the planet. Why? Because if your appetite drives you, you have no red flags, you have no stopping points of discipline, which means you're not going to heed to wisdom because you're out of control. That is lasciviousness. It's lascivious living. You're out of control. There's a scripture in the book of James that says, it says, as the rudder controlled a big ship, the rudder is not that big. You know, it's in comparison to the ship. But that little rudder that controls that huge ship, it says, so the tongue is to the body. This little pink thing, that. Your tongue controls your body. But if your tongue doesn't have any control, the Bible says you're given to appetite and you ought to be dead. And what the Bible really is saying is you've not developed the discipline to live, die. Well, how do you develop the discipline to live? Working. Die. You should be dead twice. Boy, that's some heavy stuff. So God created you to work. His first assignment to the man was work. So how is it that a man don't work when it's in him to work? He has to choke the desire to work, kill the desire, smother the desire. He has to create other desires, which is idolatry. He's creating something in him that is bigger than what was put in him. He's not even responding to what comes natural. I don't want no, you don't work, I don't want you around me. I don't understand that. Last night my homeboy was telling me, he said, Pickett, he said, imagine being married and your wife go to work and you in the bed when she leave, and you in the bed when, I said, I can't imagine that. So now, watch. When it comes to more serious things in life, for instance, your ability to develop the discipline to live so you don't die, you're never going to gain that because you haven't gotten the right one. You hadn't got the first one right. And here's what you do. You invite somebody in your life, in your heart, in your love space, who don't want to work. They are your enemy. You feeding somebody who God say shouldn't be living. Oh, it's tight, but it's right. I wasn't going to do y'all today, I promise. I wasn't coming on. I wasn't going to do you today. Because this stuff, it's doing somersaults in my mind. Negro, how you don't have a job? How's that okay? And when I say a job, clocking in and clocking out, it doesn't have to be for somebody. It can be for you. But there ought to be times, and that job is supposed to yield fruit. Here's the other thing. So a man is sowing his time in something that he's not being rewarded for, and the woman is having to carry the load. Negro, please, boy. So you are actually working. Something else wrong with you. You're actually working, but it's not yielding the fruit that it should, so you can take care of that family. But you're actually working, but you're working for nothing. You twice the fool. You should be dead twice too. It's not just the work. It's working and yielding increase. You can't just be good at your hands. You got to have a brain to know how to monetize what you do, or what you're doing is in vain. They got to work together. You can't work and it not yield fruit, because now you're putting the responsibility on somebody else to carry what you're not bringing to the table. So it's not enough to say, well, I do go to work. It may not pay what you pay. How long it's not going to pay? Now, it's different if you're working a vision and you start out, you're not making, but it grows. But depending on where you are in your life, depending on where your family is in your life, will determine if you should stay there. If your family is not in a position that they can afford you to make this thing grow, then you're going to have to get another job and work that. You're going to have to do twice the work, sir. Lazy men are dangerous to our world. Men that are given to their appetite and they have no discipline, they're dangerous to our world. God said they're supposed to get the death sentence. God, for real, he gave them the death sentence. Man, don't work, you should die. What you think gonna happen if you stop eating? If you're given to gluttony, you can't control your appetite. You're supposed to cut your throat. So you got this man, and y'all not even married. Got all these kids. You taking care of his kids, your kids, and he don't bring nothing to the table, and you praying about whether you should stay in the relation, I just slap you upside your head. Ain't nothing to pray about. He doesn't bring you anything. He's a leech. You crying about a man that left and married somebody else, and he didn't bring you nothing anyway. Maybe he made your pearls moist. It takes more than that to live, because one day them pearls gonna dry. Ooh, Lord. One day it's Jolly Rancher, it's not gonna rise. It's gonna stop rising one day. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when its strength fails and it becomes floppy and weak? What do you have? Listen. Stay away from people who don't have discipline, and stay away from people who don't work. If they got both, speak to them across the street. Run the other way. So Teresa Bryan says, just throwing this out there, with a lot of folk being without work due to this pandemic and jobs not hiring, what do? Figure it out. Listen, and you talking to somebody who'd have been in the unemployment line more times than I care to acknowledge, because the job closed, they went out of business, we got laid off. I done been there multiple times. You will figure something out. A real man will figure it out. You don't get no sympathy. You don't get no sympathy. None. Most of the things that I've learned, and I've learned to perfect, were things that I started putting my hands to because I didn't have a job and I needed money. Figure it out. Oh, it's tough today. And I mean it. Figure it out. So you telling me God gonna let you go without working? No, you don't get a pass. Your job laid you off. Figure it out. Get you another one. Somebody's hiring. Or you better learn a trade, a skill. Figure it out. So my dad, I was raised in construction. My dad was a drywall contractor, right? Drywall. That's sheetrock. We hung the sheetrock. We finished the sheetrock. We got it ready to paint. I was raised in that. When I became grown and I married, the sheetrock industry, and this is many years ago, but it was on the low. A lot of work wasn't available. My uncle did stucco. I was exposed to stucco, but stucco was not my trade. So I was a drywall finisher. I was a drywall contractor. Okay? I was making $1,500 to $2,000 a week. But when the work got slow in drywall because it's seasonal, I had to figure it out and learn something else. What do you think I did? I called my uncle. Hey, can I come work for you now? Now I'm leaving a job that pays between $1,000 to $2,000 a week because work is low. I'm not getting any, but I got to feed my family. And I go take a job with my uncle paying me $11 an hour. So the way I figured it was, all right, until I can figure this out, I've got to do something because I got to bring money home. So I asked my uncle, can I work overtime? He said yes. So this is what I began to do. I didn't know anything about stucco, so I had to start at the bottom. Listen to me and listen closely. I was making $11 an hour. I would work 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. When I work 50 hours a week, that's $550 a week. Every 2 weeks, that's $1,100. So it took me 2 weeks in stucco to make 2 weeks and a lot of overtime to make what I would make in 1 week in drywall. Some weeks I was making more than that. But I had to do what I had to do. It was enough. Them $2,200 a week was enough for me to pay my bills. I didn't have much left, but we had the cushion of my wife and her job. She had to help a boy out. But I was getting it. When work got slow in stucco and work was low in drywall, I took a job as a telemarketer, making $10 an hour, but would work overtime to make up the difference. Well, here's what happened. I gained skills on the phone as a telemarketer. Then I went and got a job at Media One selling cable over the phone. And it was the sales experience, because I dropped out of college. It was the sales experience, the reason they hired me to sell mortgages. So I got a job in the banking community because of phone skills. It's always something to do. Figure it out. Cut a yard. Figure it out. It's part of life. It's what men do. What makes a man, he may not have the answers, but he has the ability to figure it out. Call. I was calling people all the time. Hey, you know anybody hiring? I was getting jobs by referrals. You know somebody hiring? Can't be prideful. Listen, if what I do now, if it dried up, I'm going to come on here on live and I'm going to say, hey, y'all know somebody hiring? I need a job. I never forget 4 or 5 years ago, I was in radio. Things were going good, making good money, decent money. About 5 or 6 years ago. And then they had to cut my salary. I wasn't making, when they cut that salary, now this is new to me. I went back into mortgage. I went and got a job at Everbank. Look, I was the vice president of a bank. Banks had a lot of banks under me. Senior vice president. And I took a job as a loan officer. Making about 60 grand. You got to do something. And I stayed on that job until what I was doing outside of the job was big enough to supply from my hands. I will go get a job today if I have to. If working for me doesn't work out, if I can't get this stuff to work together the way that it should, I'm going to get a job. You'll see me in a warehouse, Amazon hiring, UPS. You see me somewhere. And I never forget when I went and took that job at Everbank, I had 2 or 3 people that I saw on the escalator going to my workstation. And they say, what are you doing here? I'm working. What you doing? No, but I thought you was doing, I'm still doing that. It's just not paying me what we need. We took a pay cut. Got to do what you got to do till you can do what you want to do. I like that Rodrika Webb. Now she's talking about he has the know-how, but sometimes we make it where they don't have to figure it out. We take over. We say, baby, I got this, instead of letting him figure it out. In other words, that's a partnership. But as a man, and hear me, and ladies, you don't know nothing about this because you're not a man. As a man, I'm not dependent. I appreciate the partnership. When I get a wife, I appreciate her and what she brings to the table to make it easier for her. I appreciate. But if she doesn't, I'm still going to find a way to figure it out. It's part of being a man. The most dangerous person on earth is a joker that won't work. I've enjoyed my time with y'all this morning. That's coffee time. I'm going to try and do it again tomorrow. I'm taking it slow. My rhythm has changed. I'm going through some stuff. I'm fighting some stuff off. Thank you all for tuning in. If you would like to sponsor, be a part of the sponsorship family of Coffee Time, you can do so by inboxing me. We're on. We are on Sony's network. I'm uploading the last shows today, so they should air sometime next week, this week. I appreciate you all for hanging out with me this morning. Listen, if you would like to sponsor, you like what we do, there are other shows that we are producing. We're giving other people the opportunity. Instead of just Coffee Time, Terrence Pickett, it's going to be Coffee Time, and there are other hosts. There are other hosts that I have that are going to be doing this Coffee Time thing with me. It'll be their show in my show. I'm excited about that. If you would like to sponsor us, contribute to what we're doing, you can give through Cash App. I just put the Cash App up. I'm grateful for all of you that decided to tune in this morning. Listen, don't settle yourself and sell yourself short because you with some joker that don't want to work. And don't let some joker, you didn't establish your business, establish your money, and you got some honey because he fine and he dressed nice. What is his work ethic? If he's not figured out on a job, I promise you he's going to give you hell in that relationship because he's sorry. You don't need no sorry man. You need a man that is not afraid to go get it. Yeah, it's hard, and it's especially hard for black men. Yes, it is. But it's also hard for black women. They're not quitting. We're without excuse. Figure it out, fellas. So I've got, I want to unpack this. I put the Cash App on the screen. We also have PayPal. You can do check, you can do cash, inbox me, whatever the case is. So we've created Coffee Time instead of me every day. So far I have 4 hosts that are going to be hosting Coffee Time. We made some changes. I have 4. One, I'm going to be doing it with them. I have a young lady who we're going to start this relationship. It's called Relationology. Yeah, that's our new show. Relationology. Coffee Time. Relationology. And we're going to be talking about from a male perspective, from a female perspective, from a joint perspective. We're going to be talking about how to holler at the girl on social media, the new way of doing things. You got to hit them up in the DM, especially if you don't see them out. But there's an approach you should take. Oh, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So we're sharing this platform that I believe God has blessed us with to open doors for other people. It's not just about me and what I do. There are other voices who are skilled in what they do that I believe need to be brought. We're going to get 3 more. I've got some stuff in my mind, and we're going to bring them to the stage as well to be able to offer you a complete show. This time, whenever you watch Coffee Time, you'll be able to get relationship advice, finance advice, psychological advice. We're trying to meet the total man. Anything that you need, Coffee Time's got it for you. I'm trying to tell you, we're trying to be complete and open up the door for other people. And the voices that I have so far, listen, I got a rule. I get bored quick. I have ADD. I've gotten better at managing it. If you don't hold my attention, I can't put you up here. And these people have done so. So we've grown. We're still growing. We're grateful for Sony. We're grateful for the network. We're grateful that they chose us. I need your support, your continued support. We are in charge of the production. We do that off of the sponsorships as well as the monthly partnerships that we have. I need your help. If you could pledge today $50 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $1 million a month, whatever you can afford, if you would partner with us, I would so greatly appreciate it. You can Cash App us. You can PayPal me. Hit me in the inbox if there's another way that you would like to give. I appreciate your support. Without you, this is not possible. This happens because of you. I understand I'm not that smart to make it happen by myself. If I don't have people like you who support, who listen, I'm nothing. Without your ear, I don't have a voice. You make this possible. As long as you show up, I'm going to do my very best to be here. If something should happen to me, Coffee Time goes on. because I believe it's in God idea that's supposed to live throughout the ages and stages of times. So you all have a great day. Remember, you were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on the inside of you is not capable of handling. But you got to calm down, slow down, use emotional intelligence, and think with your head and not your emotions. If you do that, sit back, be quiet, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speak, you will always win. Y'all have a great day, great productive day. Go do something and leave them people alone who don't work and give in to gluttony. They shouldn't be here. Y'all have a great day. Love you all. Think higher. Speak life. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. See